Yeah.
Yes, I can see you. Good, good.
Hello.
Very well. Good. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Where
Good.
are you?
I am in Queens.
Oh yeah, where in Queens are you?
Hollis.
Hollis? I'm in Jackson Heights.
Oh wow, that's great. I go to Jackson Heights every second day, the food culture over there, especially
Yeah.
Indian and Pakistani food.
Yeah.
So the
Oh
tea,
yeah, it's great.
yes.
If you want Indian Pakistan, this is where you come.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it looks like I'm in Karachi or Dubai or Mumbai. Is just it looks identically the same, and then it's like a conglomerate of all those cultures in one place. So that's the
Yep.
amazing. Yeah,
Yep.
yep, yep,
Absolutely, 100%.
yep. So thank you so much for coming on our podcast. And I was going on your Blue International website, Blue Dot International, and it's mind-boggling the things that you're doing. Fussy flexitarian, committed carnivore. I am a fitness freak myself. I have studied from Cornell, nutrition and fitness, and I have a book as well on Amazon, which I'm gonna share with you later on. But I am extremely excited of what you are offering on your website. I'd like to learn what it is because I believe that we are doing much on the artificial intelligence side, but not doing much on the nutritional intelligence and actual intelligence. And there is so much that can be done. I had made a documentary called Education versus IT, and in which I had, forecasted that we are not doing enough on the education technology side. And then it happened. I made a documentary in 2017, and it happened in 2020 that, the collapse that we saw during pandemic of the education infrastructure. So I believe that the stuff that you're doing in context of nutritional technology is mind-boggling, and it's like food as medicine, as they say. So tell me about it, how the entire process, the tech behind it, the sustainability that you talk about, because when you're talking, when the perception right now behind this what do you call that? That veggie burger that we have at Burger King, the one plant-based. Some, there are again misconceptions or conceptions or, perceptions. I would say that it's not as, effective in terms of overall health as it is preached. So please shed some light on that.
Sure. And thank you for having me. Is it Atif? Is that how you say your name?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, great. And again, pleasure to be here and happy to share my story and what Blue Dot's doing. Several years back, I wanted to lose weight, so I started eating plant-based before it was plant-based and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up losing 42 pounds, and I said, "Wow!" And it was just eating normal food and exercising. So, at any rate, I was going to the gym a lot, and I started getting very tight in my chest. So I went and saw a pulmonologist, someone who deals with your lungs, and he said, "You have gym asthma." And I'm like, "What?" And how do you get? He goes, "Yeah, you get from going to the gym." And I'm like, "Wow, I'm getting sick from going to the gym, you know." If I follow that philosophy, then I should get real healthy smoking and drinking again, you know. So
Right.
at any rate, as time went on, so I was treated for asthma, and as time went on, I wasn't feeling good, and I had it, and I kept going through doctors and doctors, and this was a 17th month odyssey.
Oh,
And by the time I got to the proper doctor, I was in stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and um, and literally fighting for my life. And my oncologist said to me that the way I ate saved my life because it was B cell, it was very aggressive. But because I was eating this lifestyle, I was eating a lot of antioxidants.
okay.
So a lot of deep deep leafy, deep green or green leafy vegetables. I was having my smoothie. I was having my berries, which are high in antioxidants. So, um, it and the cancer had gone into my bone. So every 3 weeks I had to be in the hospital for specific chemotherapy just for that. And I was in the hospital for 5 days every 3 weeks. And there were no plant-based options. So I started bringing my own food, and I would freeze it. I'd make it, cook it at home, freeze it, and bring it to the hospital, and then they would save it for me and then heat it up for me, and they'd smell it, be like, Miss Tuzzi, this smells so good. What is it? And I'm like, oh, it's a lentil stew, whatever. So, and that, believe it or not, is where Blue Dot was born.
Great.
I was, dreaming and saw the earth, and the earth is a big blue dot, and and so that's when the light bulb went on to me. It's like, if food can do this, just normal everyday food, I became committed then at that point to try to bring something to the public in an honest, unvarnished, sincere way of saying, this is how we can take care of ourselves just using what we have available. So the first thing we did make a product. We made a nugget, and that's because I saw the children in the hospital. It broke my heart, and I said, um, wouldn't it be great if we could give these children a high protein, very high protein, what kid doesn't like nuggets, right?
Yep.
So the sustainability aspect came into this, is like, what protein to use. Now, what happened was around 2019, when right when COVID was about to hit and what have you, uh, a lot of meat companies were funding plant-based startups,
Hmm.
but also a lot of the products were coming from these companies came out to market for the first time, and they were horrible. And that includes Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat, the first main ingredient was canola oil. And I don't care how you make it look. I'm not going to eat something I did try it once, and it felt like lead in my stomach. So what happened was, there was a lot of greenwashing. Oh, it's plant-based, plant-based. It was very expensive. It was hard to find, and it was actually not healthy for you. So, so I believe that we lost consumer trust at that point, and this went on for a few years. So, but the thing of it is, most of the plant-based products out there were made from soy. And in
Yes.
doing my research, I said, soy isn't really sustainable for the soil.
Oh,
So, and that may have changed. So we
and
decided to
does that
go to,
include tofu as well?
hmm?
Does that include tofu as well?
Anything from soy, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of it deplenished the soil as opposed to replenish.
Oh,
And that may be changing now with ag tech and all that, but back then, 5, 6 years ago. So we decided to use mycelia, which is the root of the mushroom, not a mushroom. There's a lot of mushroom based products out there, but they're made from the actual fruit, the actual mushroom. We use the mycelia because of its versatility and its nutrient density. And we also fermenting it as well, which adds another level. So the goal was to come out with a full protein, a fully assayed protein that was versatile. We could make it into many different things, but it was also sustainable. And not that we weren't harming the earth, but it was replenishable.
okay.
So that's kind of where Blue Dot started. And I've been working with Cornell University in
Oh,
their
really?
food tech department, and helping create this. This is going to be a protein that's going to be used, put in products to up not only the nutrient value of it, but the protein value of it now. And you can see it now. You can see, I was in the grocery store the other day, and Quaker Oats, they said with added protein. And I went and I saw what kind of protein they were using. They're using whey
Okay.
because it's cheap and it's made from cheese.
Yes.
So we're going to be coming out with something that's much more sustainable and much more nutrient dense
Mhm.
than what's out there, and certainly more than soy. So what's happening now is what we've been talking about for a few years, is that why? Because first of all, meat's expensive. And
Right.
people want to be able to find other sources of protein, even
Right.
if they're not vegetarian or or
Let
vegan.
me let me interject for a moment. I would like to know when you mean sustainable, what do you mean in context of shelf life or in context of
The
nutritional?
product, what it's made from,
Okay.
the ingredients that it's made from.
So it is more nutritional on a long term basis. That's what you mean by
Yeah, because of what because we're first of all we're fermenting it, which is going to add probiotics to it, which is good for your gut. And yeah, it's sustainable. Yeah, from a shelf life too as well. But you have to remember we're at this point we're going to be making it for the companies who make the food.
Mhm.
We will probably come out with our own,
Okay.
but we want to see how this fares in companies that are also trying to level up the protein content of foods. I mean, whoever thought of putting protein in oatmeal?
Right. For
You
sure.
know, if you want to do that, most people put peanut butter in it, right?
That's
But
true.
because since COVID, we've become much more conscious. We, as a society on a whole, I think we've become more health conscious. And we want to stay healthier and healthier longer, especially, as people are aging healthier.
Yes, that's true.
They're staying active, they're staying engaged. People are going into second acts after they finish up maybe their corporate job, they're becoming entrepreneurs, all that kind of stuff. So they obviously want to stay healthy, and I say that across all groups. I'm not just singling out any one particular group. So Blue Dot was we're very committed to the sustainability I'm going to say issues, items. And our pillar for that, or our foundation for that, are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Ooh.
Okay, so one of the other reasons why we're making this too is that it can acclimate to really any cuisine, any cultural type of food.
Oh,
So hopefully it'll be our initiative that we can maybe help assist in some small way in helping to end hunger.
okay.
Because I truly believe, especially in the United States, nobody should be hungry in the United States.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's
And
right.
it makes me a little bit upset to even say that,
That's
you
right.
know, especially children, you
Yes.
know, but nobody in the United States should be hungry. It's just and actually in the world, we have the technology, we have the capability. Why is it even still out there? So that's one of Blue Dot's main goals is to help out with poverty. And also too, we're establishing relationships all over the world who are, it's like, what can we do?
Mhm.
you know uh when you look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals,
Mhm.
that there's about partnerships, about you know equality for women. I was talking with a gentleman in, oh gosh, I forget I forget the country in Africa. It just slipped out of my mind. But I was helping out with a plan to make their villages more uh, economically sufficient,
Okay.
and that so they were planting fruit trees so they could grow fruit and sell them. And I said, well, who's doing the work?
Mhm.
And then women were doing the work.
Mhm.
They were doing the heavy lifting, so to speak. I said, you need to pay them.
Yes.
So he started this whole initiative to empower the women and help that. So, and also too, it was very much aligned with sustainability.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of conversations with people all over the place,
Mhm.
and see where they're at, and say, what can we do to, even if sometimes it's just passing along knowledge. Which brings me to another point, is that um uh I believe now, well, I've always believed that, we have an ethical and just a duty to be transparent and be honest. Our ingredients, you can read them and understand them, you know,
Right.
and you'll see what the nutrient value is in it, the protein primarily. And I think because there's so much information out there, and I guess we can talk about the information sustainability,
Yeah.
that we need people to pay attention more. I think you were talking about people get confused about what do we need to do to eat and be healthy, because there's so much out there. And it really just comes back to really basic, and it's really eating the right stuff,
Right.
exercising, and also drinking water,
Yes.
staying hydrated, which is really important. And really, that's all it is. And and you need the kind of that trifecta
Yeah,
to stay healthy.
that's right.
And by the way, when I we do not judge, but Blue Dot, I say we're a climate friendly company.
Mhm.
You know, like you said, very vegan, fussy flexitarian, committed carnivore,
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Right.
This is just another option for
Yes.
people
Right.
to be healthier in their food.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's great. I remember there was this initiative by Dr. Yunus in Bangladesh, and he's a Nobel laureate, and he was into empowering cottage industry at a micro level, and he just revived the Bangladesh economy, where he was, promoting this yogurt with a perishable can, which could be consumed as well, a container. So, and I totally agree with you that information is a resource. And again, the subject of our podcast is attention economy, and everything in this life is food, basically. Whatever we consume, it shows off on us, whether it is psychologically, whether it is, like you said, water, whether it is about sleep, you know whether it is about mobility. And the great thing about today's attention economy is that there is a lot of information out there. YouTube is like, it's got everything. However, there is some fad as well, but I won't call it fad, because science is a work in progress all the time. And things that we know now, can be revisited or reformed or redefined in future as well. For
Yeah,
example, if you look back in time, there was Atkins diet, there were, paleo, and there was so many other. And now, the but like you mentioned, if you have nothing else, then you at least have information, which is the hugest resource to share. Because just creating that knowledge base in the nutrition and fitness side, health side, it's a huge paradigm shift. Because whether it is carnivore diet, whether it is organ consumption, head to tail concept, or whether it is, purely vegetarian, or the plant based, there is so much to be learned. And again, for me, like you mentioned, the basics. For me, it's the concept of balanced diet is to eat everything. You have to eat anything, yeah, whatever is available. And that's for me is the concept of a balanced diet. And again, when you consume with awareness, with consciousness, then you end up retaining more energy and getting an extra mileage, mile out of it, whatever you are consuming, because it's basically our fuel. And like you mentioned in cancer, the concept of fasting for cancer alleviation, and the concept of apophagy, where the body goes into a self replenishment or mode. And it's amazing to hear, because I did not know that something like that in terms of food technology exists. And it's a great information for everyone to know. Because again, going back to square one, it's great that there are so many concepts out there, whether it is alternate medicine, whether it is Vedic medicine, whether it is Chinese medicine. So there is everything out there, and then you can pick and choose what works for you. Because it varies in that on ethnic level as well, what works and what does not work. So tell me about The you mentioned United Nations. Tell me about the regulatory side of it. Does it require, because you're saying that big companies into the food chain can acquire your blue dot food and make it part of their products.
Well, I guess one I got lucky working with the people I'm working with at Cornell, because one of the things that one of the professors, what his specialty is that's what he does, is making sure the food is safe, and so it's going to be certified as that, and non-GMO, and I think non-GMO, kosher, and I forget what they said, how many badges do you want, vegan or what it's like. But the thing of it is, there also has to be sustainability, and I call it, and accountability too, on how things are made, how where they're sourced, how they're packaged, all of that. So when you say you're sustainable, it's like, well, I want to be sustainable. At Blue Dot, we want to be sustainable from beginning to end, from where, and actually, over a year ago, uh, well, we had been researching. We had to replace a bean because I wanted to make sure the bean could be sourced here in the United States. So that's what we've gone through many incarnations, and what, so we're not, we are just about there, but we also want to make sure that how it, not only where it's sourced, but how it's made, everything, the packaging and delivery, and look at the sustainability from a broad spectrum. And also, again, being very transparent. I think because we are an attention society, that I believe, especially the younger generation, they need to manage their attention more wisely and be able to consume conscientiously
Right.
instead of passively,
That's right. That's what I
because
that's what I teach my daughter as well. That okay, fast food is good once in a
yeah,
while.
it's a treat, right?
That's right. As a treat, it's good, but every day you got to consume stuff that really energizes you and that makes you feel happy afterwards. That's the basic barometer for me. How it is working on me.
Hmm.
So yeah. So this mushrooms. This is it like marine mushrooms, or because there is a lot of excitement in the seaweed section as well. So what kind of mushrooms are root of mushroom?
Probably, but remember, it's the root.
Root,
It's the
root,
root of
root
the
of the,
mushroom.
yeah, root of the mushroom. Yeah, yeah.
Probably shiitake.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it up to the science guys. I spent a lot of time with food scientists, and I'm not even in their PhDs and
Right.
their given thing. And I'm like, okay, but it's got to have certain benchmarks, and they know what they are,
Okay.
And
Right.
right now, shiitake is probably the one it needs to be uh, versatile enough to
Okay.
be able to become, whatever the process is, and become
Yes.
making the isolate
Yes.
is. So yeah, and so I would say probably right now we're going with the shiitake.
Okay.
And the thing of it is, people, I believe, need to. I learned a lot about nutrition when I was sick, because I had nutritionists,
Mhm.
and I took a real deep dive in it. And I had already had a heads up, because what I was doing naturally was helping, and I was being proactive without even knowing it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I think people, and it's really not that difficult. It's like fruits and vegetables, fiber's good. Fruits and vegetables are 90% waters that help with their hydration. People who eat meat or whatever, yes, you can get your protein from that too, Um, uh, it's not really rocket scientists,
Mhm.
and the thing of it is that all these other diets you're talking about, they're not sustainable,
Okay.
you
They're not
know.
yo-yo effects. Yeah.
They're good while you're on them,
Yes.
and
That's
then once you go off them, your body is like,
That's another
um
problem. That's another problem in attention economy. Like we were discussing on when we were communicating on LinkedIn. That's another problem because we want everything instant. We want everything overnight. We want the effect. We want Botox. We don't want to drink more water. We want Botox. So the thing is that it's a step in the right direction. And And again, we are, the world is gearing towards genetic engineering, and choosing the genders of the babies. And this entrepreneur Brian Johnson is working towards immortality, and Elon Musk is, into chips, is installing chips into people, and working good in many directions. So you never know, this could be the first step, because this could be reverse engineering, because you start from the food, and then if you consume good food, you're going to have good healthy babies.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then once they're here, once the babies are here, is to have them, get them on a healthy eating program, their healthy eating regimen from a young age up. You know, we never had, when I was growing up, we didn't have candy and cookies around. Those were like maybe Friday night treats or when we had a babysitter. But I'll tell you, fruit was always around and vegetables were always around. I'm half Swiss, so I'm from Buffalo originally, and about an hour outside of Buffalo is where the Swiss immigrants
Chocolate,
settled.
the chocolate.
Oh well, well that will be my dark chocolate, at
Yeah,
least
dark chocolate.
70%.
Yeah,
So
yeah, me
that's
too, me too, me too. Yeah.
yeah, it's another good antioxidant, right?
So I have, you can see my, this is my chocolate
What
bar.
is it?
This is my chocolate can. This
Let
is,
me see. Oh, dark chocolate. What's the percentage?
oh, I'm very bad at reading the labels, but I,
I
whatever.
would say like 70% cacao or 60%.
This is the Kisses version of the dark
Oh,
chocolate.
okay. Well, you have dark chocolate, so you're there,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, so because treats are an important part
Yeah,
of our
the
food.
80/20 rule.
Yes, but a very important thing that you just mentioned is that because nutrition and health is a lifelong learning curve, and when you like you mentioned, when you are more informed, when you take a more informed decision about your diet and what you're eating, whatever you are putting in your body, your brain also rewires, and with that knowledge, your body also follows. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I hesitate to use the word diet.
Yeah, of course.
It's because it sounds
Yeah,
it's like a diet is something you go on to lose weight. That's how
of
most Americans think,
fasting and
right?
everything. Yeah.
And it's like it, and unless, and then I would say I prefer to say it's an eating lifestyle.
Yes, that's
For
right.
what started out for me as a diet to lose weight became an eating lifestyle because I like it. And in your brain, yeah, your brain, your pleasure centers, whatever. It's when your body feels good, when you're hydrated and you've eaten something that satisfies you, right? And I encourage people to try new things.
Yeah.
Try it. Try a new vegetable. Go to when you go to the grocery store. Try something you've never heard of
Right.
or never tried. And of course now with the internet, you can look up anything on how to make it. So there's no reason not to do it, right?
Uh, uh, I mean, I'm not into coffee. Every morning I either have the English tea, or I, like you mentioned, I learned from YouTube how to make mocha latte, matcha latte, and then sometimes I have this green tea. Sometimes I have this this beef broth. Yeah, I use my instant pot to do the bones, and so like you mentioned, it doesn't have to be same. And sometimes I have hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is my go-to drink. When I'm out. So we don't have to necessarily load caffeine into our system to wake up.
Well, right. Well, you know what? You bring up a good point. Well, I haven't had caffeine in over 20 years. The only
Wow.
caffeine that I'll have is in chocolate, which, doesn't really do much. But you bring up a good point, when you said that. It's also not what you're eating, but also I call myself a clean eater.
Yes.
So
So
it's also what I'm not eating.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have caffeine, no soy, no wheat, no dairy, no corn, because our bodies are not made to digest corn and wheat. And I'm saying this is for me. This is just some guideline. No processed foods, no sugar. You
Right.
know, sugar I use is monk fruit or xylitol or
Right.
so. so combining health eating with, for me, clean eating, and
Yes.
that included too no nitrates either. So a few years back, every once in a while I'd like to get some turkey slices, but they all had nitrates in them, so I couldn't have it. So now they've moved towards not, and it's a big advertisement now. They're doing it now. It was like 5 years ago. It's like, So, so trying to minimalize the amount of free radicals you put in your body, because we get that, we get, all you have to do is step outside and, we're, we're, uh, we're in pollution. And
Right.
I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or anything, hyperbolic, so it's also a matter of clean eating as well for me.
I
And
mean, like, I mean, it has to be, everything has to be clean because, Indian diet has a lot of, or like, for me, it's a lifestyle switch. Is diet is, I agree, it's a wrong word, but I speak in context of cuisine. That it has a lot of turmeric in it, and then there is this trend of turmeric and ashwagandha and all
which is
these.
good for you.
Yeah.
Turmeric's a great anti-inflammatory.
Yes. So, tell me about this latest, appointment, and RFK Junior and on FDA. What is, because I used to work for HHS back in the day, with CMS and ACF. So, do you think he's trying to switch the food culture? What is your take on that?
Who do I think is trying to switch the food culture?
RFK Junior, the head,
Oh,
secretary.
yeah. Again, now this is going to go back to people having critical thinking, and is this in the best interest of the people, or is there another agenda there? Taking fluoride out of water. I believe that there's probably more pressing issues that he could be dealing with, like diabetes and cancer, as opposed to what, I'm not saying, food dyes or whatever, but okay, fine. But I think there's a lot more pressing societal issues. Um, uh, I'm not a very political person, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really don't, I really just think I would hope he would want to focus his resources and his time and his energy on on uh
Cure of cancer.
yeah, and yeah, and helping out Americans, making it easier for Americans to eat healthier.
That's right. Michelle
Um,
Obama was doing, a lot with kids, especially, in terms of healthy eating, lifestyle, and but I wonder why, if we can find, sort of a cure for HIV, and so quick, vaccine for COVID, then why is cancer not solved? I mean, we're trying to go to Mars, and
yeah, that boy, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you, in my case, I'm lucky to be here, and I'm grateful that I am. But it was just like, if they could harness that the information of the power of food as medicine.
yes.
And again, that's all about sharing information, sharing accurate information, right? That's why what you do is so important, these podcasts, and getting accurate, transparent information out there, you know. And uh yeah, so I would hope that um that it becomes more of a societal conscious thing,
That's
but
right.
also making it more accessible and more affordable for people to eat healthy.
That is right. That is
You
right.
know,
That's right.
I
That's a big.
mean, I never thought and I'm seeing $1.25 for one orange. It's crazy.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, and I'll tell you that is what that the maybe as close as political as I'll get. It's like I haven't seen food prices go down since the new administration came in.
Right.
And if anything, they're because of the tariffs and all this, they're I mean it's irreprehensible what these prices are.
Yes.
And then the thing of it is that, and this happened during COVID, you don't know how much really is the tariffs and then how much of it is gouging,
That's right. That is correct. That is correct. That's so true, especially
you
in
know?
context of eggs.
I haven't seen any grocery stores go under since COVID.
That's
You'd see
right.
restaurants gone under, but not grocery stores, right?
That's right. And remember the Tyson controversy, the Tyson plant controversy?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I totally agree with you, and I think I hope it's not another optics show, that But I think there is a lot of work, like you said, that can be done in
Well,
pharma side and in the collective wisdom of the society in terms of for example, Whole Foods, like you mentioned, it has become a joke in its own that for what? I mean, organic food, okay, good, fine, it takes a little bit more, but don't make it a status symbol, a classist issue,
yeah. And
it's
that's exactly what, eating healthy shouldn't be an economic luxury,
that's right. That's right.
right?
Yep.
And this brings me back to a point too, is there's this a program, this company that it was called Meatless Mondays.
Mhm.
And part of our other initiative too is lowering our carbon footprint. It's for as far as sustainability, and if people realized if they just ate one day a week meatless,
Mhm.
the impact they would be having
Yes.
on our climate and on Mother Earth's health. Let's just maybe put it that way. It would be amazing. It's like can't eat rice and beans once a week. There's a lot of fun things. Like I said, you can go on the internet and you can find anything. Um, and just one day a week.
Yes.
Or one dinner a week,
Yes. That's
right?
right. That's right.
Now I have friends. If it's like if there's not a piece of meat on the plate when they eat, it's an appetizer. So it's not a meal without meat. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But maybe try once a week. And also too for your health.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I mean,
You know,
yeah, growing up in Pakistan, we used to have on Wednesday, all the shops were closed, all the meat shops. So, and it's totally healthy, taking a break. And like, I'm a big fan of Marco Pierre White, and he says that, it's the ingredients. He can make anything tasty, and
yeah.
especially when we talk about because my inquiry with you was, these soy products where they say, it tastes like chicken, and all these NFL players started consuming it. But again, there has to be a lot more information and awareness regarding this, because there are again, polar information and education and knowledge. But they should be consumed in a way where it utilizes only the best for the people at large.
Well, yes, I agree 100%. And right now with technology, I think Just Egg just got FDA approval.
Hmm.
And I've, the founders since, again, just 5, 6 years ago when it was all in development. So it's going to be very interesting to see what technology is going to bring out. I know they have the whole thing with the meat and all that. But I'm doing it with eggs now because eggs are ridiculously priced. Um, and so it'll be very interesting to see what food tech is going to be bringing out. Because even like with the egg, you want it to have the same nutrient properties, the same capabilities of an egg, the same, all the feels, how many different ways. So that's where I have a lot of faith in the technology to see what we're doing. I mean, what we're going to be making we'll virtually be able to make anything out of it. When one of the things I'd like to do is bring a nice climate-based yogurt
Oh, that's
to,
cool.
and I've had some samples and you cannot tell the difference. And this is the one thing with the public. I think it's if they're getting the same nutritional value out of it and it tastes great and
That's
and
cool.
it gives all the mouth feels to it, you know, why not, right? Give it a shot. And so hopefully, like with we could do yogurt, we could do ice cream, we could do meat crumbles.
Right. And
It's endless. It's endless. The options that we're going to have with this protein that we're developing, as I said earlier, it's just another way for people to get the protein in their diet with foods that they like, right? Hey, wouldn't it be great? There's protein in your cookies or in your chocolate.